Hey, what's going on? It's a drink with Derek. Derek Richards here in Las Vegas with my guest Dale Jones, who's apparently in some kind of a bunker outside of Atlanta, Georgia. I love that room could not be more perfect for you. Anybody that knows you knows that room is exactly where you should be.
My wife sent me to COVID camp. That's what this is.
It literally looks like, we were talking before we even started recording, that it literally looks like a room like in Criminal Minds when they're talking to the person that kidnapped somebody.
Right, exactly.
And they're trying to pinpoint the location of where the body is.
This is from the movie Seven, right here. We're going to scream, "What's in the box?" the whole time we're doing the thing. What's in the box? What's in the box?
Dude, it's so good to see you. It's been way too long. Thank God. The one thing I'll say positive about this whole COVID thing is that it's been able to give me the opportunity to connect with a bunch of people that I haven't seen or talked to in forever by doing these interviews, which is great. We were talking before. It's been at least 10 years since we've seen each other in person. So
yeah, maybe longer. I may have been 30, 25 years, maybe 20.
It was 25 years ago. It was 25 years ago. Really? That's how long it's been?
Has it been? I don't know. I was in my 30s. I'm 50. I don't know.
I know. Time means nothing right now.
Especially when you can't tell it.
Thank God your wife, who is hands down the most tolerant, patient, amazing human being on the planet, Jody White, who's a very, very funny comedian also. Yeah. Is able to tell time for you and point and program your GPS in your car and point you in the direction of where you need to go for your next gig. Which you just did a gig as we're recording this. You just did a gig in Arkansas, and I've been able to do a couple things here and there on the road. And I'll tell you what, I never thought I would say that I miss shitty road food.
I miss seeing inside of a McDonald's. They won't let you inside of McDonald's anymore. That used to be my go-to. It's like, well, I don't want to pee at the gas station because I'll get the clap, but I'll go to McDonald's. At least they mop. And now you can't do that. So now I got to go to the gas station to pee and then run and get in the drive-thru to go. Yeah, it's.
Do you just pee in the drive-thru at the McDonald's or no?
I'm thinking about doing it. Just open up the third window. I'll be over there. I'll be in reserve section 3.
Dale Jones is going to be at the Comedy Catch in Chattanooga, Tennessee, September 24, 25, and 26. DaleJonesComic.com is your website. You have a killer video short that you guys put together, you and your wife, Jody White, called The Joneses, which you absolutely take no credit for at all. I think it's very slick and very well put together. And you once again defer to your wife for being the brains behind the operation with that. It's a very cool video clip. What's that about? People that don't know The Joneses, what is that little 15-minute clip that you guys put together that's on Facebook, Instagram, all the social media stuff?
Okay, well, it's 3 minutes because we cut it down and we condense the hell. Well, she does, and it's called We're the Joneses, and it's basically our lives. There's really everything's just whatever happens.
Right.
And we're not filming constantly, but if something comes up, one of us will whip a phone out and just start recording it, and then she splices it all together, and then I go, I think this is funny, and she says, no, it's not. And then I say, you're right, and then we do that together, and that's why it's successful.
Isn't 8 compromise grand in a marriage? I say it's funny. She says it's not, and so we just don't use it. Now you're originally from Tennessee, correct?
Actually, Southern Illinois.
Okay.
Yeah, but I can't say that when I'm on stage because people tie Chicago in with Illinois, and then they don't realize that 4 hours south is, they don't realize that. They don't. Southern Illinois is about that far from Paducah, Kentucky, and you can't count it on one. You can count it on one finger because they're all webbed. So you can count it.
Now, did you start doing comedy down there, or where did you start at?
I started in Nashville. Yeah, so I graduated in '88 and bounced around for a while, and then I was in Nashville by '90, and started doing stand-up in January 12th, 1993.
Okay. Too funny. Yeah, we started about the same time. I started in November of that year. So
nice.
That's hilarious that you dropped that time frame in there. That's why I thought you were from Tennessee. It was because you had started there in Nashville, because you did Second City training. Did you do that in Nashville?
No, I did. I don't think they have Second City. I did that in Chicago.
Okay.
So, and that was years later. After my first divorce, I moved back to Illinois and was staying at my mom's place. And I was doing the road, and made sure I had to be in Chicago every Monday.
Right.
And I just did the acting training. I didn't get to do the improv because I thought I did the acting training for a year. And so every Monday, no matter where I was at, I would get on a plane from Tampa, fly to Chicago, get on the L, do the class, fly back the next day, or whatever I could do. And I just did that for a year, just nonstop. And I loved it. I thought it was awesome. And then I was going to start the improv training, but I thought you should be with an improv troupe, because that's not something you can really drop in on Monday and have the chops down. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you need to practice throughout the week. And I was like, well, I don't live here, so I really can't, so I didn't move on from that. I kind of regret that. But on the other hand, I had to pay the bills,
Well, yeah, I mean, that's not a cheap thing to dive into. I mean, those classes cost money. People don't think about that. And then you're adding all the extra transportation involved with it. And I mean, having to deal with traveling to Chicago and parking and all that stuff too. I mean, it adds up. So,
yeah, the cool thing was right there at Second City on the corner. It was right around the corner from Zany's.
Okay.
I could get a week at Zany's. I could stay in the condo sometimes, and then I could do the classes during the day, and then go to work at night. That was pretty cool. And then they gave us parking slips so we could get free parking all year long.
Oh, that's cool.
They validated all the parking, so that was cool. That saved a ton of money, because that would have been, downtown Chicago, $30 for a night or something. It was crazy.
Well, yeah, now I think there's a lot more parking spaces available, since they just keep shooting people in Chicago. So
I think so. I think you can park on the street for free.
You got to look at the positives. Right. It sucks. There's a lot of people dying, but on the upside, a lot of open parking.
Slower because they have to swerve around all the corpses. But
we're horrible, horrible people.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
You have hands down one of the most unique styles in comedy. Anybody, comics that I talk to, and I'm not just saying this because we're sitting here talking, but comedians love watching you, because you are just a squirrel on crack on stage. You are. Somebody asked me to describe you one time, and I go, he's a squirrel on crack. He's one of the funniest people you'll ever see, and he is just insanely animated. Were you always like that when you started doing?
No, at the beginning, I have old clips. I should probably send you one. I wanted to do a Dennis Miller thing when I first started, because I was always a nerd in high school and hyper, and I thought, well, I should be the cool guy. So I would stand there, put my hand on the mic, and do this, and just talk, and I was eating a dick. It was horrible. It was terrible. I got kicked off the open mic. I was going there. Wow. 2 months, and finally Josh and Lenny, who ran it at the Lenny Sisselman, they're like, you can't go up anymore. You could sit in the back of the room and watch all you want, but you're not going. I go, this is free. I'm doing 3 minutes on a Tuesday. They go, oh, you're just not funny, man. It ain't working out. So I started doing open mic at other room. Huntsville had a room at the time, and I think I'd go to Memphis. That's where I met Mo Alexander, and just wherever I could go. And after about 2 more months, maybe 3, I was back in the back hanging out, and Northern and Alberstadt and all those guys said, hey, he's been working, and he's kind of getting, he's switched his stuff up, and they let me go up.
Northern, oh my God, that's a name I haven't heard in forever. Tim Northern and Keith Alberstadt. Well, Alberstadt I've heard, but I haven't heard of Tim's. I haven't heard Tim's name in a while.
Tim's in Louisville. I'm hoping to see him this week.
Okay. Now he's a super, super good guy.
Yes, he is. He is.
That is so cool. What now? So when did you finally turn the corner with this?
I would say I took a couple of writing classes that they offered at the club, and I figured out that I liked physical stuff. And your side froze. I don't know if you know that or not, but it did.
Yeah, I'm looking at this here. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
It's a great,
demonic look too.
That's my closer face right there.
It should be. It is your closer face.
That's my whole
absolutely
act. If you had to do an impression act, that is it right there.
That is so funny. Well, you know, I bought this. I got this a camera to stick on top of here because the other camera wasn't as good. Let me go ahead and make an adjustment here on the fly and change this because this is weird as hell. I have no idea why they did that. But
I'll keep talking while you're working on the camera.
Okay, cool. Keep talking while we're figuring this horse shit out.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say. So when did you turn the corner and start doing the act that you're doing now?
I took that writing class. There was a bunch of comics in it, and they said write a brand new 5 minutes. And of course, I didn't have 5 minutes to begin with. So, and I wrote the thing, which is going to be, this is hilarious because this is what I ended up getting known for in the early days. I did the toy monkey thing.
Yeah.
So I put a headband on and I pushed my hair all up and I did the thing and did the toy monkey. And I figured out that I really liked physical stuff.
Right.
So then I just kept repeating that process, and everything I did, I just made it as physical as possible. And then I was on the road in 2 years. By the 2 year mark.
How many years were you doing it when you finally, after being thrown off of open mics, which is still the funniest thing in the world because they will let anybody go up on an open mic. I have seen the worst example of entertainment ever on an open mic. So the fact that you got thrown off of an open mic is actually, you should really talk about that more often. That is hilarious.
They didn't have the patience for 3 minutes. That's how bad I was.
You can listen to the shittiest Taylor Swift song and go, all right, it's over soon.
Those people couldn't wait for the 2 minute mark to like me. They're like, oh God. Oh, thank God. 60 more seconds. Hang in there, guys.
So you were in so you started in 93. So a couple years in is how long it took before you finally went, okay, this is what I need to do. I've got to start being a little more animated.
By the 2 year, by 95, I was on the road full time.
Wow. Good for you.
So I would say probably around this 8 month, 9 month, 10-month mark is when I started writing physical stuff. And then it just started snowballing. And then I just was, and I wasn't the typical MC because most MCs went up and said, hey, how are you doing tonight? And I just went up and bam, it's a show. Let's go. Let's do this, you know. And then I wrote jokes for all the, they said, well, you got to do the drinks and the comment cards and stuff. So I wrote jokes for all of those, you know, so I could just keep them laughing all the way through the show, you know.
Sure.
I hated the lull that you had to go through, this painful lull of them having to listen to the damn menu that they didn't give a shit about.
Right.
It's the next comic and you feel like he's in a hole. So I was like, and it wasn't brilliant, but it kept them focused. And then I bring up the next guy, you know, and some of them got pissed.
The fact that you wrote anything at all that was unique to, you know, the circumstance in terms of, the drink specials, the whatever else they wanted you to promote. I mean, the fact that you did anything at all is different than what 90% of the comics were doing at the time. So it didn't need to be brilliant. You just need to keep their attention. And
I didn't expect to go full time in 2 years. I didn't expect to get paid for 10 years. I was just driving a forklift and working in Bill. And I think I broke up with a girl. So it was that heartbroken thing. And I was bored and I didn't know what else to do. And I'd been going to Zany's and watching, what's the chick from What's Happening?
What's Happening?
Shirley Hemphill.
Oh, no, from, that was What's Happening.
Yeah. So I remember watching
Shirley Hemphill.
Yeah, Hemphill. Yeah. Yep. I remember watching her, and I remember some buddies coming down from high school, and we hung out in Nashville, and we went to Zany's, and we're sitting there one night talking, and like my best buddy goes, you should be trying this. And I was 20, 21, and I was like, I might. And then I remember going to open mics and thinking I had it, and Then I wrote 11 minutes of material, and that first night on stage, I found out I had 10 seconds.
What blows me away is that someone let you drive a forklift.
And we used to drink at lunch. So we
Of course you did.
We would drink at lunch, and then we would have races in the forklift. And I remember the last time I drove the forklift, I hit the shop. I hit the wall shop, which was a chain link fence with plyboard, and they put all the tools up. And I hit it, and my buddy John was behind it. He was the boss, and it hit it, and all the tools flew off. And he goes, "It was like a damn action movie. I'm dodging pliers." That's kind of... And then we used to put grease on everything. So every time somebody went to grab something, you grab a broom, there'd be grease on it. You get a stapler, there'd be grease. And then I would declare it piss off day. And then I'd try to make everybody in the shop angry. And once I got to all 20 of them, I was like, I did my goal.
Now, you and I would have cocktails after a show, but never once did I ever see you completely lit up. What's your best drunk story? I can't even imagine you completely over the top, out of your mind.
Oh, we should hang out more.
Well, I know we worked together. Like you'd have a couple beers, and you're like, I'm going to sleep.
Yeah, I think that's because I got the DUI in '97, and I think I really went through the chill out mode when you and I were hanging out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because it had to be. I think that might have been the late '90s when I think you and I had worked together in Charlotte.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Then that had to be obviously right after when you had gotten the DUI. Then okay.
DUI 97, and I had to deal with 3 dates for that because I was I still had Tennessee plates on my car. I was living in Illinois on the floor of my parents' house, and I got in a wreck in Macon, Georgia. So I had to deal with 3. Yeah.
What a pain in the ass.
Oh, it was crazy. So yeah, I had to call the parole officer every week in Macon, which lasted a week because I called him up and I go, "Hey, I'm in Minot, South Dakota." And finally he goes, "Did you pay your bill?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Don't call me." So that was it. That was my Georgia. And then Tennessee, I had to go back and get my license and get that switched out. I don't even remember. It was a nightmare at the DMV in Nashville. And then I had to do alcohol classes in Illinois.
Oh,
it was a whole wrap in. But the good thing was this was before the internet really got going, right? So
sure.
They took my license away for a year, but Georgia was behind on their paperwork, right? So I went to Illinois and got another driver's license, and I drove for 6 months until the system caught up with me, and then they took it away, and then I had to do all this stuff. So
now, is that your best drinking story?
That's not even my best drinking story. That's just a story. That's a lead in.
You have a hell of an appetizer.
I got 2.
You serve a big steak for an appetizer, my friend.
I got 2 drinking stories, and okay, the first one is me and Jody. We had one together. So I take her to my first class reunion, which was in 2008. So we're both 38 years old, and we're just drinking like crazy. No, that was the second. It doesn't matter. Anyway, we both get hammered, and I think we were in my hometown, and there's this place called the Red Dog Saloon, which is famous for there was a guy that raked a wiener dog next door to it. Anyway.
No. Hang on. You don't just brush over that. It's famous because a guy did what?
It's famous for me. My buddy Billy that owns it hates this damn story, and he bulldozed that house. But I can't not tell this story.
What?
So there's the Red Dog Saloon, and there's a house next door in Salem, Illinois, which is now, it used to be Andy Griffith Town. Now it's the meth capital of Illinois. And this dude was molesting a wiener dog. He had a stand for it. He would put his legs in it. So anyway, they took care of the dog's fine. I think it may have one of those things with wheels. I'm not sure. And
The sad thing is, they let this guy go up on the open mic and do 2 more minutes than you.
Right. This guy was the closer. So, it's like, keep going. Keep going.
How do you, I just don't know how. So who found out that he was
Okay, you could hear
that he was
you could hear the
cornhole
dog.
dog?
They could hear the dog. The dog is screaming. And so they call, and then they find out he has a wiener dungeon or whatever. I don't know what you call it. And yeah,
A room that looks very similar to the one that you're in right now.
in fact, I bought the house. This is the house. This is where it happened. No, I didn't. Anyway. Well, I'll finish that. I'm not even going to get to the drunk story. This is going to be a 4-hour show.
That's hilarious.
So anyway, they caught the guy, and my buddy Billy, who owns the Red Dog, he bought that house and he bulldozed it because he just doesn't want to hear the damn stories anymore. But before that all went down with the bulldozing the house, I go, hey, Billy, I will pay for it if you will get T-shirts that say, welcome to the Red Dog Saloon. Please don't come in the wrong dog.
Oh my God.
So that never happened. But that's not the drunk story. The drunk story, that's the town we're in. I'm just setting it up. That's the town we're in. That's the kind of town. So me and Jody go to this reunion.
You can paint a picture.
Right, and we're hanging out at the Red Dog Saloon. The house is still there, but there's no show that night. So there's no wiener show that night. So anyway, we're hanging out at the Red Dog Saloon, and me and Jody are writing on the walls and putting our name on the ceiling, and other people have, but I don't know if they still wanted us to. And there's a lot of stuff. Anyway, we were either the bar either closed or we were asked to leave. I don't know.
I've been there.
All I know is that the guy that always drove me home when I was 16 years old walked up to me and he goes, Dale, we got to go. So we're dropped off at the hotel, which is the new hotel in town, the Holiday Inn Express, which was the fancy place, I guess, whatever. And when I wake up the next morning, Jody has peed the bed from her ankles to her knees. It's a big circle, and she rolls over and says, baby, I don't know what happened, but I think you pissed on me. So
the beauty of her is she can always have an excuse like that about you.
Right.
And you're probably not going to question it.
I just said, I'm sorry. So then a year later, we go back to hang out in this town and we check into that hotel. And I'm not kidding you. They gave us the same room. I think they knew. I think there's a picture on the wall that said, these are the pissers. That Mr. and Mrs. Bedwetter are here. Give them room 302. So
that's beautiful.
That's my first drunk story. Here's my second one. My second one. This one we got to go to where I was 20. This was before the DUI. So I was probably 26. I'm on the road and I'm doing a, what was that dude that he booked rooms in Texas? And he was a drummer. Dang.
Oh, C.W. Kendall?
Yes. I'm doing a C.W. Kendall gig. I'm in McAllen, Texas. And I'm the feature.
I've been there. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm the feature act. And obviously, because it's 96. And I can't remember who the headliner was. And anyway, my sister had called the club and said, hey, it's Dale's birthday. Take care of him. So in the middle of my act, when I'm doing some physical thing on stage, like shadow puppets with my face or something, whatever the hell I'm doing, because I did some weird shit. And there's just shots of tequila all along the edge of the stage. So I did them. And then I don't remember how much more the show went. And the next thing I know, we're in Mexico. So... And this is before that movie Dusk Till Dawn. And I didn't realize it looked like Dusk Till Dawn until I went and saw that movie. And I'm like, yeah. So I'm in a whorehouse in Mexico, and I didn't hook up or nothing, but they're dancing in the walls and stuff. And this dude walks by and he says, "I hear it's your birthday." And I said, "Yeah." And he throws a bag of Coke on the table. So now we're doing shots and we're snorting Coke. And then it's about, I don't know, 4 a.m. and everybody left. So I'm stranded in Mexico. And you know how McAllen, you know how C.W. Kendall booked, get in the car after the show or you're not making the next gig.
It's true.
So I walk out in the middle of this stranded ass road in somewhere in Mexico and I scream, "Who wants to go to America?" And I'm not shitting you. Like 3 cars go. I go, "All right." So I'm driving, hammered out of my fucking mind, and yeah, I brought in an illegal. So
You're the reason why they're trying to build the wall right now.
I pulled up to the thing and he goes, "Who's your friend?" And I go, "We live together and we just came over here. You know, he's got some extended family, but we've lived together in America for years." They probably thought we were lovers. I don't know what the hell they thought. Anyway, I don't even remember his name. I got Chico into America, and and then I got a car and I drove on to West Texas, wherever the next gig was.
That's a hell of a story. Again, along the lines of you driving a forklift, I can't imagine you on cocaine.
Oh, yeah, that's where your heart just jumps out. And I think I wrote a bit about it. Your heart just jumps out and runs around you, goes, "Woo, let's do some more."
Actually, with you, I could see almost the reverse effect. Like I could see you doing cocaine, and then all of a sudden you're like, "Hey, I'm just going to take a nap."
Right. Be like the Dr. Johnny Fever thing.
Yes.
It's really slow, and then you get back.
KRP, yeah, when he was doing the drunk test, the dexterity test with the cop in the studio. Yeah, and he got quicker the more he drank.
Yeah, he was more accurate. Yeah, he's like, bam, bam.
So fun. You moved out to LA for a while. How long were you out there? Did both you and Jody move out to LA, or did you just move out there yourself?
No, we both went. We
Okay.
We were living in Louisville, Kentucky together. Let's see, we got married in 2012, and 2014 we went to LA. And,
what made you go to LA? What was there? Did somebody encourage you to do that, or you guys just said, "Hey, we've got some opportunities out there"? What prompted that?
It'd been in my head for a while, and I wanted to go, but I didn't want to go out there without somebody to help me, without a manager or something.
Right.
And then at DePetta, and then Mike and Molly got picked up with Billy Gardell.
Right.
And, Chris goes, "I think I can open some doors for you. I think we should go." And I was like, "All right." So we were gone within 2 weeks. We threw all the shit and sold a bunch of stuff and took off.
Right.
And we were in North Hollywood for a year. And then my home club was Comedy Magic Club in Hermosa Beach.
Mm-hmm.
So from North Hollywood to Hermosa was like an hour and a half drive every damn night. So Jody found a place in Redondo, which was 10 minutes away from the club.
Right.
And we were right there on the ocean. And it was only like $200 more for a 1-bedroom apartment. So yeah, after a year, we ended up going to Redondo, and I just was at Comedy Magic Club pretty much every time the doors were open. And
so what happened out there? Because you had taken the acting classes through Second City. I mean, were the opportunities there that you thought were going to be there? How was your experience?
The problem was, being a road guy, it's hard to stay there. You know, you
Right.
kind of quit your damn job and just stay there and be there constantly, because the problem I run into is I could make the audition, but I couldn't make the gig, or I could make the gig, but I couldn't make the, you know what I'm saying? I was constantly on the road because I'm trying to pay the damn bills because it's so expensive. And and I ran into that with a lot of comics, to where they were like, I can't afford to just, you build this career up for 20 years. And then you don't want to quit being a comic and wait tables.
Right.
So you can do acting. So that's the rub I had there. So nothing really happened on the acting front. But I did take some classes when me and Jody took some classes on Sunset, and that was cool. We met some people. We got to see a lot of, and I bounced around all the clubs, and I was a regular at the Ice House and Comedy Magic Club. And I got to open for Leno, and I got to meet Paul Reiser, and I got to hang out with a bunch of really, really cool comics. And that experience for me was awesome. That taught me how to do a 5-minute set, 7-minute set, because they really honed in and they said, hey man, you got to learn to stand still. You can't be running all over the place. And it taught me to slow down a little bit and try to, really hone in and build a 7-minute set. And that helped me a bunch. I think that's what I learned most out there.
How long were you out there?
5 years.
Okay.
5 years. Yeah. And the reason we ended up moving is because we had a bunch of, it was like Melrose Place where we lived. Everybody in the apartment complex, we left our door open all the time because you're on the beach, you don't have AC.
Right.
So people are constantly just walking in, and it was really cool. Well, all those people left, and then other people moved in, and they had day jobs and they were responsible, and it was bullshit. And right?
Who lives like that?
What do you mean you don't want to drink till 4 and pee in the ocean? What the hell's wrong with you? And so all of Jody's family was over here, and my mom was on this coast, and we're like, you know what? You can do auditions online now, and all the callbacks are in Atlanta. So why the hell are we living here and flying to Atlanta for a callback, possibly? So,
right.
So we like, and then we found out we could get this house, and she found me this basement to live in, and we got a good place for you. And so we moved here, and she said it would be cheaper, but you know how a house is. That was a damn lie. But no, but I love it here. This house here and the neighborhood is the closest to how I grew up. So I can hear crickets at night and stuff like that. And so,
well, and you gotta find something. You gotta find a place that you like to go home to. And
right.
Because there's nothing worse than, I mean, if you're on the road and dealing with the chaos of just life, of traveling and doing that, you want to come back to a place where you can you walk in the door and your heart rate goes down. And, right. Certainly living in like a North Hollywood environment and stuff like that, that's a different animal. I mean, you had a great spot on the ocean, which was super cool, but
that's cool.
But the fact that you got a place now that's close to her family, and a lot of your family's on the East Coast, so it makes it easier for you guys to. You got to have that inner peace. Otherwise, if you don't have that, I mean, completely, it's just too chaotic. At least for me, anyway.
Right. Yeah, and I love being in Redondo. I mean, I watch the sunset, and
right.
But I could only be there 1 week a month.
Right.
So, I'm like, well, I love it, but damn it, I can't afford it. Because the flights, all my work was back on the East Coast. Because everything on the West Coast is showcase.
Right.
You can't make that kind of money unless you got TV or movie, and you can't get your movie unless you stop doing the road, and it's all a catch-22.
Now, what advice would you have for somebody because they always tell comedians to look, if you want to make something happen, move out to New York, move out to Los Angeles. What advice would you have for anybody who is watching this right now, who's thinking about moving out to LA to try to make things work?
Don't go out there with a family.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to do this, it's a whole different journey with if you're single.
Mm-hmm.
If you could just worry about you and live in rent somebody's one room out of their apartment and keep it as cheap as possible, then you can stay out there longer and get more done. But if you're already a family man and you're going out there, you're going to have a tougher road to hoe. Don't expect them to hand you a bag of money when you go across the line, just because, I'm in LA. Woohoo! I stood in line at the Comedy Store, and you have to do the 5 o'clock show to get started going. They're all pissed at me because the other comics are pissed at me because I got all this experience, and I'm a little irked with them because I just saw this guy, shit in a shoebox, and now he's standing in line with me to go to stand up. So, who
was oddly the same guy you brought over from Mexico,
exactly,
into McAllen, Texas, many years ago. So it was nice for you guys to reunite.
It was. He didn't age well. I don't know what happened to him afterwards. We should have. But they don't care out there. I mean, they don't, and why should they? You go up and they say, hey, What's your name? Dale Jones. How long you been doing it? All right, I've been doing it 27 years. Da 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 da. Okay, get in line. They don't give a shit.
No.
And why should they? You should have to prove yourself and stuff. Just be ready to start over. Don't walk out there and think you got 10 years, 15 years experience. You're starting over. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, because they could care less.
Of course. And why? And yeah, I mean, everybody there's out there. They've heard every story since 50.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Chaplin at one point was going, "I can do this." Yeah, get in line, asshole.
Although they had to do silent comedy back then, which was, which made it way tougher.
He's doing the dancing with the damn, the potatoes on the forks. They're going, whatever. Whatever. You're with the caterer. Get in the damn line and feed the actors.
Now you're married to your second comedian.
Yes, because I didn't learn.
You're a thrill seeker. You're a thrill seeker. What advice do you have? Because this relationship has, unless you guys are putting up a great front, it looks like you legitimately enjoy each other and have a good time, which is awesome. What advice do you have to anybody? Never thought you'd ever hear this. Marital advice from Dale Jones. Bookmark this date and this time. What advice would you have for somebody? Because you always hear of performers getting together. And that's a tough, this business is tough as it is. There's plenty of competition that you have with yourself,
right?
Which is what you should only be competing with. But at the end of the day, everybody wants to end up comparing stuff to other people. So what advice do you have to somebody who is going to hook up with another performer? Or in your case, obviously, another comedian?
When you get married, put the ring on the right finger. That's a big help. That's a big help. No.
I cannot believe Dr. Phil has not had you on his show more often.
You know what I keep saying in my head is that my first wife is watching me right now going, "You're still a jackass. You're still a jackass. Damn it, I was right." To be honest, I didn't plan on dating another performer. I didn't plan on dating at all. I didn't plan on anything. It just happened. I was in McCurdy's and she was already a comedian, and so I didn't get her started or nothing like that. Right. She walked in and it just happened. And to be honest, I pushed her away for 2 years. And to the point I was like, no, I got this. I'm in the middle. My mom's got cancer. I'm in the middle of this. I'm in the middle. I had moved out. I hadn't been living with Valerie for 7 months, 8 months or something. So that relationship was over, but I was still, right. I'm still licking wounds, and after 2 years of pushing her away, she finally said, "Don't ever come around me anymore." And I did the whole say anything and just showed up at her place with all my stuff and, standing
with
there.
With a boombox on your head?
Well, I show up my guitar and I'm just leaning on my guitar and the guitar case, and she opens the door and she goes, "No." And she slammed the damn door. And I go, "Well, then I'll see you tomorrow because I got no place else to go." I did the whole officer and a gentleman. And I said, "I'll be sleeping in my car because I don't have a damn place to go." And then we worked it out and it went from there. But it's not a friend. She's my best friend. She's and I'm not just saying that.
Right.
When shit hits the fan and when it doesn't hit the fan, I'm always, "Jody!" That's my Aussie moment. He says Sharon and ice cream Jody.
I like how you went from say anything to officer and a gentleman. I know. I can't even imagine what goes on inside your head. Inside your head is like that Wiener Dog show next to the Red Dog Saloon.
It is. It is
in Salem, Illinois.
And it's 4 shows a day. It's ridiculous.
What? Because your style is so unique and so the energy and everything that you do is so character driven. Can you remember the experience that you had? And I only use this as an example because Greg Hahn, who is funny dude, one of the funniest people, hilarious. But you two, in terms of how you commit to a character, remind me of each other. I mean, where your act is so character driven, and to me, nothing funny. Greg is hilarious to watch when things go well, but there was nothing funnier than watching Greg in front of an audience when they hated him, and they're like, "What are you doing?" So, people, if you get a chance, first off, you got to see Dale Jones online. Go on type in YouTube Dale Jones, and you'll see his act if you have not seen Dale's act before, and you'll truly get a chance to experience the magic of you.
Right. But it's
but type in Greg Hahn as well and watch his stuff too. Have you been in a situation, or can you remember the situation that you did where you went up there and you dive into your character and the whole audience goes, "Fuck this guy"?
What year do you want? Me and Greg have had so many conversations. Bear's Place. I don't know what it is about Bear's Place in Bloomington, Indiana, but they hate physical comics. I've had that conversation with Pat Kilbane before he did Mad TV. Me and Greg Hahn just sat around one night. He was working at the college in Bloomington, and I was at Bear's, and we met up in a bar later on and talked about how much these people hated us. And Bear's, I would just go up, and they just look at me like, "Where's your helmet?" And I just keep going, and people are just walking out. I've had corporate gigs where I'm doing it, and the guy just gets up and he goes, "You're a goddamn idiot," and he just went and sat in the next room.
At a corporate show, somebody did that?
Corporate show, yes, and it was a little corporate show for lawyers. So they had me do it at the office because I guess they wanted to save money. So they all sat in the front, the greeting room, I guess, where the secretary sits. And they set up chairs, and I'm behind the podium with a little mic that goes over in the horrible little box. And I didn't even use that. I just hollered and ran around in circles and did my stuff. And the guy stood up, and I was in the middle of doing the toy monkey. And he goes, "You are a goddamn idiot." And he walked into one of the meeting rooms. So he's still sitting in the meeting room, and I'm doing my act. And he left his beer, and his wife was the secretary, and she had tears. She was laughing so damn hard. She just thought it was hilarious that her husband walked out of the room. That's probably the biggest laugh I got that night. And and I took him his beer, and I just went and took him a beer, and then I would ask him how he's doing, and I'd take him another beer, and then and name a Yoder one-nighter. Holy shit. Any of the Yoder one-nighters, they would just look like him. They just look at me like, I was in the wrong room and they were trying to pay respect to the body. It was just horrible. And especially when I was in my 20s, because then when I was in my 20s, I was 12. So they're like, are we being, did this kid's mom drop him off and we're just watching him while they're at the bar? Why is this idiot? And back then I thought you had to dress funny to be funny, so I'm wearing like a silk shirt with purple triangles and friggin' plaid American flag chucks, and parachute pants. You remember the mullet day when I looked like Mick Jagger? I'm up there doing a retarded Mick Jagger, the boy that lived in the basement that wasn't as funny or as talented as his brother. And so then I'm in a straight jacket doing face stuff. Yeah.
Please tell me you got the DUI when you were wearing the silk shirt.
I was. I sat in a drunk tank dressed like that. Yeah.
Are you serious? You really did?
Yeah, I did. That's not, yeah. And then there was this one guy that kept screaming, "Don't look at me, white boy, or I'll kill you." I'm staring at the floor. And the other guys.
That was at a Waffle House after you got out.
No, I was welcome in a Waffle House. every Waffle House I was in, they're like, "Come on in. It's the scattered, smothered, covered boy." No, in the drunk tank, yeah. That was, yeah. And this one guy kept screaming, "Don't look at me, white boy, I'll kill you." The other guys felt so bad about me, they sat in a circle around me, like they brought in the wagons.
It's bad when you're in a holding cell and your fellow cellmates do an intervention.
Right.
Like, you know what, we're fucked up, but we're not this guy.
And then there was one dude that was really hammered, and he comes and sit next to me, and he just looked at me and he goes, "When you get out of here, I need you to mow my lawn." And I go, "Okay." I'm scared to death. I go, "You're darn right. I'll mow your lawn. I'll edge. Shit, I'll paint your house. I don't care what you need." He goes, "I live at 1223 Maple Drive. The push mowers in the garage. I just need you to mow my lawn." All right, man. I'm a mowing motherfucker. I'm mowing.
Please tell me you did it.
So yeah, they to be honest, they ended up pulling me out of the drunk tank because I asked the guard to come over. And I said, "Can I talk to you for a minute?" Because when they let me in there, they took my keys, but they left me with my pay. So I had $400 of cash in my wallet. And I'm $1.70 now. Back then I weighed what, $1.10?
Uh-huh.
So my wallet was half my ass cheek. It's sticking out this damn far. It's very obvious I got a lot of cash in my wallet because my butt's like this. And I just went out there and I just start slapping 20s on the table. And I go, "Don't put me back in there. You can have all this money." So he just gave me all the money back. And he goes, "You can go sit in the shower." And I go, "I don't know if that's safer." But they put me on a bench in the shower and the curtains open and they're all at their desk doing their paperwork. So that was the end of my drunk tank. And then they put me in shackles and handcuffs and took me to freaking Piggly Wiggly because my mom sent the damn money. She wired the money and I had to walk into Piggly Wiggly with shackles and handcuffs and sign the stuff.
So your mom posted bail?
Yes. Yeah, I called her up.
You wear shackles?
Yeah, they drove me there in the van and they kept me in leg shackles and handcuffs and yeah, and then they ended up they finally took the shackles off and I said, "Just take the damn." I go, "I'm not going." He goes, "You run, you're in for it." I go, "I have totaled my car. I live in Illinois. Where am I going to go?"
How did you end up in shackles at a Piggly Wiggly? So your mom posted bail. Your mom posted bail.
That's how they transport the guys. When you go, I had to go sign for the money that she wired for my bail.
At the Western Union at the Piggly Wiggly?
Yeah, in Macon, Georgia. So they put you in a van, they shackle your legs, and they handcuff you. Then they walk your ass in while everybody's going, "Paper, plastic." Oh, hell, well, that's the comic. Because I was working the damn comedy house or whatever. Remember that place in Macon, Georgia? Whatever that was, the comedy
house theater.
It was next to the pool hall.
Yep.
Yeah, there. So, yeah.
That's what it's funny because I had a story over there, not nearly as entertaining as yours, but that was one where I had went to the show, got to go food from Waffle House, brought it back to the motel, which is like a Red Roof Inn, kind of across the street.
Right.
And I sat Indian style on the bed watching TV, hammered with like chili covered hash browns, and I went face first into the chili and passed out. So now, mind you, I'm sitting legs crisscrossed. I don't know if I can say Indian style, but I don't give a shit. So I go face first into the chili and pass out. I wake up in the morning with my face in the chili.
Right.
And I can't feel anything from my waist down because I've been sleeping. Yes. Because I've been sleeping like this for like 5 hours.
You're a yoga master.
So I am now. I had no idea I had that flexibility. Right. And so I pass out and I'm like, well, this is how it's going to end. I'm now disabled from the waist down in Macon, Georgia at a Red Roof Inn with my face in a pile of chili curd hash browns.
That whole sentence just sounds like like hell. Every part of that sentence. You pick one thing of that. Macon, Georgia. Oh, chill. Oh.
It's like one shitty card after another being dealt to you. Hang on, I can top it.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's just a tarot reading, and every card is death, 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 death.
dude, it's so good to catch up with you, man. It's been way too long. We've got to get together sometime on the road. DaleJonesComic.com is your website. Comedy Catch, Chattanooga, Tennessee, September 24, 5, and 6. Go to his website. Check out the video clip they do. Dale Jones and his wife, Jody White, who is a hilarious comedian. We're the Joneses on all social media. You're on all the Facebooks and the Instagrams and
where we can
all that crap too. You can find it all on your website.
It might, yeah. I don't know.
You know what? I couldn't think of a better way to end this interview than with you just going, yeah. Dude, it's so good to see you, man.
You too, brother. We need to hang out more. That'd be awesome.